In a small, sunlit village nestled between rolling hills, there lived two brothers named Esau and Jacob. Esau, the older one, was a strong and skilled hunter. He loved the thrill of chasing wild animals through the forest and often came home with fresh game for the family. His younger brother, Jacob, was more quiet and thoughtful. He preferred staying close to home, tending to the family's sheep and working in the kitchen with their mother, Rebecca. The brothers were different in many ways, not just in their interests but also in their appearances. Esau had thick, red hair and a rugged look, while Jacob was smooth-skinned and slim. Despite their differences, they shared a bond as siblings often do, though it was sometimes tested by their contrasting personalities. One hot summer day, Esau set out early in the morning to hunt. He was eager to bring back something special for the family meal. As the day wore on, the sun grew hotter, and Esau found himself deep in the forest, farther than he had intended to go. He chased a deer for hours, but it always managed to stay just out of reach. By the time the sun began to set, Esau was exhausted. His stomach rumbled loudly, reminding him that he hadn't eaten anything since dawn. Thirsty and hungry, he stumbled back home, feeling weaker with each step. All he could think about was finding something to eat. Back at the family home, Jacob was busy preparing a delicious stew. The rich aroma of lentils and spices filled the air, making Jacob's mouth water. He stirred the pot carefully, adding just the right amount of seasoning. Jacob enjoyed cooking, and this stew was one of his best creations yet. As Esau approached the home, the smell of the stew hit him like a wave. His empty stomach growled even louder, and he felt as if he might faint from hunger. He hurried inside, his eyes fixed on the bubbling pot of stew that Jacob was tending. Esau's hunger made him desperate. He asked Jacob for some of the stew, unable to think about anything else. Jacob, seeing his brother's desperation, came up with a plan. He knew that as the older brother, Esau had special privileges, including a birthright that entitled him to a larger share of their father's inheritance and a special blessing. Jacob calmly suggested that Esau trade his birthright for a bowl of the delicious stew. Esau, feeling weak and famished, didn't take time to think it over. He believed he might die of hunger if he didn't eat right away. To him, his birthright seemed worthless compared to his immediate need for food. So, without much thought, Esau agreed to Jacob's deal, trading his birthright for a single meal. As time went on, the trade between Esau and Jacob had bigger consequences. Esau tried to forget about it, but he couldn't shake off what he had lost. The birthright was more than just wealth. It was about leadership and family honor. Because of Esau's quick decision, Jacob would now be seen as the head of the family after Isaac's death. Isaac, growing older and losing his sight, decided it was time to bestow his blessing on his elder son. This blessing was highly significant, as it conferred divine favor and prosperity. Unaware of the deal between his sons, Isaac called Esau and asked him to prepare a special meal of his favorite game, after which he would give him the blessing. Rebecca, who favored Jacob, overheard this conversation. She quickly devised a plan to secure the blessing for Jacob instead. She instructed Jacob to fetch 2 young goats from their flock. She prepared a delicious meal just the way Isaac liked it and dressed Jacob in Esau's clothes. To disguise Jacob's smooth skin, she covered his hands and neck with the goat skins, mimicking Esau's hairy texture. Jacob, though nervous, followed his mother's plan. He took the meal to Isaac, who was suspicious but believed Jacob was Esau because of the smell of Esau's clothes and the feel of the goat skins. Isaac blessed Jacob instead of Esau. When Esau returned from his hunt and brought the meal to his father, Isaac was confused. He realized he had been deceived. He already gave the blessing to Jacob instead of Esau. Heartbroken and furious, Esau vowed to take revenge on Jacob once their father passed away. Fearing for Jacob's safety, Rebekah advised him to flee to her brother Laban's house in Haran. She promised to send for him when Esau's anger had subsided. Jacob left for Haran, embarking on a long and challenging journey. Along the way, Jacob faced many obstacles: harsh weather, dangerous animals, and the threat of bandits. Despite these challenges, he pressed on, determined to fulfill the future set before him. Meanwhile, Esau struggled with his sense of loss and betrayal. Though he eventually reconciled with Jacob, the brothers' relationship was never quite the same. Esau found his path, marrying and establishing his lineage, but the shadow of that fateful trade always lingered. The tale of Esau and Jacob became a lasting lesson in their family and village, a reminder of the far-reaching consequences of their choices. It spoke of the dangers of acting on impulse, the complexities of familial love and rivalry, and the intricate web of fate that their lives had woven,